What's going on, guys? I am back in the garage tonight working on my 5.3 LS swap into my Jeep Wrangler. Haven't really gotten any more progress done on this thing since my last video, but tonight we're going to change that. I have quite a few projects laying around over here that we're going to get to tonight. So why don't we go over the very first thing we're going to be installing in this video. Now the goal of this video is to pretty much get all of this put back together, and I'm gonna get pretty close. The first thing we're gonna take a look at is what exhaust setup I'm going with. Originally, I was gonna do a DIY exhaust. However, to save a lot of time, I'm gonna go with a full bolt-on kit. Now I decided to go with the Hooker exhaust kit from Holley Performance. This thing is completely bolt-on because it was specifically made for an LS swap in a Jeep TJ or LJ, which is what I have right here. So that is pretty freaking cool. Like I said, it's direct bolt-on and it's gonna save me a lot of time. So we have both of the headers, got the Y pipe, the muffler, and everything else that we need to complete the exhaust. Now I also went ahead and picked up some exhaust gaskets, got some multi-layer steel exhaust gaskets from Mr. Gasket, some new header bolts that I haven't seen before. They've got little serrated serrations at the top of it. It's gonna help grip a little better, so these bolts shouldn't come loose over time, like as if the engine vibrates and you drive.
I've never heard of those.
I haven't either. I've never seen them, but you think the concept would work pretty well.
It's a good idea.
Yeah. So let's get this exhaust on. First thing we're gonna start with are the headers. Quarter turn at a time. Still got plenty of ways to go.
That's pretty cool though. I was waiting for you to start something.
Okay, I couldn't. I would stop wrenching. It's like patting your head and rubbing your tummy. It's impossible. Got one header in, one more to go. Now, one thing I do want to mention is that these headers are specifically designed around Holley's engine mounts. I'm running their engine mounts, seem to place the engine in a good spot, so these headers aren't gonna have any problems fitting in there. Now, something cool that I think is cool anyway, because I've spent many, many hours trying to get slip joints unattached from each other is...
Example, a catalytic converter over there.
Yeah, it's still not undone. We banged for hours on it, so anyway, I shouldn't have said that. This is the V-bands on it. It's really cool. They just stick right together, put the clamp on, and clamp it. And we're not gonna have any exhaust leaks. So I think that's pretty cool, especially if we have to take it apart, which I'm really hoping we don't, but never know. So we're gonna get this thing in. You're in charge of holding the spark plugs down underneath, babe.
Oh, okay. I feel like a kid that's working with his dad. Hold the flashlight.
Let's take a look at the Y pipe, because once I put it on, I'm probably not gonna ever look at it again. So
why? Y pipe.
So we got both of our V bands right here. One goes to the driver's side header, the other one to the passenger. Got our O2 sensor bungs already pre-welded in.
Look at that bunghole.
Oh, stop it. Another thing to note too is that if you are in a state that has emissions, right, you're gonna have to customize this kit. You're gonna have to put some cats in. It does not come with cats. So
off-road use only.
Yes. Now we are going to put these two pieces together. Literally push them in. And then we can go get our V-band clamps and get this exhaust hooked up. The exhaust is done with the exception of the tailpipe. Now, this kit was designed for a TJ. I have an LJ, so it's a little longer in the back. I'm gonna have to put in an extension between the muffler and the tailpipe, but I'll get to that a little bit later. Now, the exhaust is done. All done. The headers look fantastic, much better than the ones I had on here before. And with the exhaust knocked out, about an hour and a half, I'd say.
That was so much easier than doing the DIY exhaust on my Hemi. Man, this is just like, boom, bolt the headers on. Oh, attach the V-band clamps, put together, man.
Boom,
so much
shoots
easier.
out the back. Now that is done, exhaust checked off the list, we can move on to the next step. Day number 2 out in the garage, and today we're going to be taking a look at something.
Day number 538.
No, yeah, get out of here. Day like 137 in reality. So we're going to be taking a look at something very important to this swap, and that is the radiator. So the V8 is larger than the 4.0 that was in here before, and more engine means more heat. So it's going to be hot. We got to make sure we can cool it. So over here, we've got a nice old radiator setup that we're gonna be going with. Ben, I'm gonna let you take the camera.
Alrighty.
So we have gone with a radiator from Flexolite. Now this is a big old oversized aluminum radiator with an electric fan. So the really cool part about this radiator is that it's gonna be, again, direct bolt-on. It's gonna be even easier than the exhaust direct bolt-on. So Flexolite specifically makes this radiator and electric fan setup for an LS swap in a Jeep TJ, which is pretty much what I'm doing.
Oh, what do you know? It makes it easy.
What do you know? It makes it easy. So what that means is that you got your inlet and outlet hoses on the right side that you need them to for the LS. And then you've also got a steam port, which you're not gonna have on your Jeep factory radiator. This is LS specific. So on the front of the heads, steam tends to build up, so they need the steam port in order to move it on out of there. So that is what that is for. Now the electric fan comes already like on the radiator, bolted onto the radiator mounted, which is really nice, and it's easy to wire it up to get it going. You only need 3 things. You need your battery ground, your battery positive, and your switch positive. That is easy. It's really easy, right?
Can I tell them about mine?
No.
No.
Ben's is like radiator, Camaro fan, switch control. All
yeah, mine's kind of crazy. This is it's all built into one.
That's really nice, yeah. And then you also have the option to add in a manual switch if you want a manual switch for your electric fan. And then you can also wire up your AC to it as well, which I'm gonna worry about the wiring a little later down the road. Gonna do pretty much all of the wiring all at once we sort
I think, yeah, the fan wiring is like the least of our...
That's the least of my worries.
It's the least of the worries right now.
So, now it's direct bolt-on. So all this talking, don't let it confuse you. Pretty much gonna get the bolts and bolt it right onto my grill.
We have one issue though. We only have 3 bolts.
Oh yeah, we lost.
We lost one.
We lost one. So I'm gonna put 3 bolts in when it should be 4. And then I have to worry about where the heck I put my grill bolts.
The grill mounting bolts,
they're in that mess over there somewhere, so I gotta go find those once I get this bolted on. I guess I didn't show you guys the radiator, so just real quick, here it is. Nice and beautiful.
Nice aluminum, that's thick.
Yeah, I don't think we're gonna have any cooling issues with this radiator. And also I forgot to mention the temp sensor. Gonna stick it in right between the fins over here. And we got that part done, so I guess it's time to bolt it on. Got it all the way through. That felt so wrong to do. Seeing the grill back on the Jeep really makes me feel like this swap is finally coming together after so long. However, one thing I kind of got a little ahead of myself on is putting the radiator and the exhaust on. I should have ran the trans cooler lines first before I even did that. So Ben is down there under the Jeep right now trying to get it. How's it going?
Got one.
Heck yeah. So
it's tight though. Quarter turn at a time, you know?
So thank you, Ben. He's trying to figure that out for me right now. However, we should have done that first. But looking back at the radiator, so I got a super cheap set of Jeep radiator hoses on eBay. Now the heater core hoses ended up working, but the ones that came in the kit did not. So they're just not quite long enough. They're silicone hoses and they, whoopsies, wrong way. It's just not quite long enough and the fit it's not quite right. So these are getting tossed out, can't use it. So I'm gonna try to use the one that came off of the Silverado. I've measured it up already a little bit, kind of marked where I plan on cutting it. So I'm gonna try and see if this will fit in just a few minutes and see if we can just use this one, even if it's just temporary.
That's in it.
Better than nothing for the moment. Now, the transmission cooler. Ended up going with a Flexolite transmission cooler. It's just a universal one. It came with all the mounts and a hose, which I'm not going to end up using because there are kind of like 2 different choices, which you're about to talk about.
I need to install this, so maybe we can run them through it real quick.
Okay, real quick.
All right, so I need
my turn. Okay, so you can either, you need that right now?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, so.
No, you're good.
Okay, so hold on.
Here's what we're doing.
Here's what we're doing. Okay, go for it.
We're gonna be running soft lines.
Yep.
So we got a little adapter here. This threads into the transmission. And we have AN lines, soft lines, which are gonna thread into this. So this is what I am installing in the transmission, which is no room to work with a white pipe. So I'm stealing this.
So he's down there trying to run this since it doesn't fit. Okay, now what comes from the factory are the hard lines. You got hard transmission lines we are ditching those and going with the soft lines as been said. Now also AN fittings, I'm not going to show you guys how to do it, but there are tons of videos out there. You can do this at home in your garage. So check it out if you need some help on that. So at this point, while Ben's under there trying to get the transmission lines ran, I am going to unbolt the top part of the radiator and see if I can get this transmission cooler installed. I think I can. I don't think I'll have to take the whole grill off, thank God.
It doesn't fit?
What doesn't fit?
The cooler, how like...
Oh yeah. That's why I have to loosen it. I didn't even mention why I have to do that. So normally there's room right here where you can put your trans cooler without having to do anything, like take your radiator off of your grill, but there is not enough room in my case, so I'm gonna see if I can just loosen the bolts from the grill, move the radiator back just a little bit, and then stick through the mounts for the trans cooler and see if I can do it that way. Wish me luck. Made in Australia.
What is?
These trans coolers.
Nice.
I never seen made in Australia ever.
That is true. Like, is that a good thing or a bad thing, you know?
Yeah.
In Australia, I don't know.
So we got the trans cooler lines ran, installed the cooler. All that's left now is to cut the hoses and see if we can get those old factory ones to fit on here.
What in the world do you have?
You think it's gonna be big enough?
Oh my goodness, I guess go for it.
Ready?
Yeah.
Oh, just missed it by like a little.
Is that a kink?
A little bit, yeah.
So if we cut this down more.
The kink might go away. Y'all know who does the yard work in the gym right now.
Yeah, right.
I'd say it's like 60-40. Don't get too cocky.
Oh, you chopped too much off.
Shut up.
I'm just kidding.
We did not. I might have to chop a little more, honestly.
It might be good.
I think it'll do like especially temporarily. I should have tried jerking it around a little
Yeah,
bit.
you gotta jerk it around.
I think
Yeah, there's no kinks or anything, is there?
Nope. That'll work. Looks like we're gonna have to get a new lower radiator hose. I need more of an S shape, and this one just starts to kink whenever it kind of bends towards the bottom of the radiator. So I'm gonna have to go to the auto parts store and see if I can just find one that's a little more S-shaped. Ran down to O'Reilly's and got an S-shaped hose. This is the part number, not even sure what it's for, but it was the right size and shape that I needed. However, I needed to twist the bottom part of the hose just a little bit, so I went and got this repair kit. Basically had to cut the hose in half, put this little plastic piece in, and then twist the bottom of it to connect it to the radiator. So hoses are done. Now it's time to pour a little bit of water up in here.
Hold up. All this talk. Cassie don't believe me when I say I got a bunch of hose up in this garage.
Get out of here.
Look at all, it's got some old hose and some
Wow,
new
I'm
ones.
impressed.
Yeah.
You got that many
Got
hoses?
a lot of hose in this garage.
Now, I want you to work your magic, and can you pick up the distilled water and do like the pour into the radiator?
I'm just trying to hang out with my hoses.
Oh my goodness.
What are we doing?
Pour water into radiator.
Is it time to do this?
It's time. Might as well test for leaks. So I mean, okay.
Test for leaks? We
Test for
firing it
leaks.
up?
Nah, I mean we could.
You better have this
What are you?
Why are you so close? I'm trying to show people the magic.
How high can he go? How high can he go? I mean, that's pretty impressive. That's like a good 2 feet away from the hole.
I've been practicing with all my hose.
You're not
And we're
funny.
topped off.
Topped off?
It was
You see any
bubbles, huh?
leaks?
Let's see.
Well, I can't tell because you spilled some water. No visible leaks. That means cooling is pretty much done. Forgot to mention last night I put in this universal overflow tank. Got it off of Amazon. It's pretty nice. Just kind of sandwiched it in there for right now, but I'll probably permanently mount it here.
It's pretty nice. It's
That's where I'm gonna
aluminum.
leave it. Yeah, aluminum.
I went with the plastic one on mine. You got the aluminum one right there.
Yeah, I did. So,
High money.
I mean, cooling is done, which means at this point, all that's left is the wiring. Need to put in my rear drive shaft, the shifter, which I haven't talked to you guys about yet. This thing is pretty much ready for a test fire. I've got enough wired up for a test fire, but I can't do that tonight, Ben. Would you like to tell them why?
Not really. Nope.
Ben was down under the Jeep last night messing with some wires.
Pause. It was critical.
He said,
It was critical.
"Oh."
So we installed the new headers, right?
Yeah, we did.
And they were rubbing up on the positive starter wire.
Yes,
so I'm like,
they were.
I'll just do a real quick loop around of the header so it doesn't burn up. And
Gone.
yeah, so the lug, the little positive stud snapped right out of there. So I think it's Cassie's fault.
Ben says, uh-oh, and I was like, what? Okay, so we're gonna go and get a new one, but anyway, so can't do a test fire tonight or in this video, so that'll have to wait until next time. But why don't I go ahead and get them to run down on like the shifter.
The shifter setup?
The shifter, yeah.
Heck yeah.
Let's do it. Let's see what we got here, because I haven't seen any.
Want some light?
I think, can y'all see? I can't see. I could say this blindly.
Let's see, is that pretty good?
Let's check out what we got here. So we got a shifter cable from a Chevy Trailblazer, and then we're going to be using a shifter from a Hummer. Now, originally we had a Chevy Trailblazer shifter, but it was too tall. And so, as you can see, like it was about 2 inches taller than this. And if we were in park, it would hit the dash. So ditched that, went with this one from a Hummer. I think it's gonna work pretty well. What do you think, Ben?
I think so.
I think it's gonna work. So underneath here, we've got the big old hole from the last one. I think we're gonna cover it up with a plate, probably weld some studs onto here, and just mount the shifter. That should be easy as that. Now over here, we've got some wires and a solenoid. So what this is we gotta figure out which wires kind of go to this solenoid, because we wanna be able to hook this up to the brake, because this is where that safety feature comes in, where you have to press the brake in order to shift it out of park. Now you could bypass that, just close this and weld the solenoid closed, you're good to go. But I think this is a safety feature I wanna keep, just because, you know, anyone could just come walking down the road and just shift it in the reverse or drive or whatever, or the kids.
Like if the kids are playing in here, like,
oh, what does this do?
We're parked up on a hill, and they're like, oh, messing. And the next thing you know, Jeep. Oh man.
Bye-bye Jeep, bye-bye kids.
Yeah.
So safety feature. Once we figure that out, I'll let you guys know which ones it was.
I'm thinking probably the red and black.
Red and black.
They can't see it.
Can you see anything?
I feel like my flashlight's making it worse.
I know. The lights do that sometimes.
Yeah.
So that is the rundown on the shifter. I think I'll probably just tell you guys how it goes. I don't think it's anything I'm gonna record, but
yeah, I think this is gonna be one of those projects where it's like, we're just gonna do it.
We're just gonna do it, and I'll put links to everything that we're using here, and pretty much everything in this video in the video description
I think the
below.
Hummer was like similar year, like 05, 06.
Yeah, I think it's.
And then the shifter, I don't know what to throw. Most people use like aftermarket stuff, but I think this. I think this will look pretty good.
It should work.
Let's throw the console back on. Cup holder.
All right, and this is actually a very good example of where this is at now in park. There's no more room
forward
up here.
Yeah.
So that Chevy, the Trailblazer one, we ditched it and went with this. But this is going to be.
Is this far as it moves back?
You can go back a little bit more.
A little bit.
Pretty much.
Right there.
That's about it.
Yeah. So I think. Can you put your hand in there?
Yeah, I got small hands.
No, like pretend you're gonna shift.
I got grill hands. You might have problems with them thick.
Hold up.
Thick monsters.
I got room. I mean, I guess you can do the side grab.
That's true. Well, I'll be able to do the full on. We will have to make a custom shift boot to hide all this crap. Probably gonna go with a Crown Royal bag. Like,
yeah, temporarily. It's gonna look pretty factory though.
So that's the plan for the shifter. Now I got a new rear drive shaft from Tatton's and was going to put that in this video as well. However, after I pulled the Jeep into the garage a couple days ago, I realized my pinion seal is leaking.
Really bad.
Really bad, yeah. So I'm gonna have to change that out before I put the new drive shaft in. And other than that, guys, drive shaft, gonna have to wait for the new starter to come in, and then I think we're going to be ready for a test fire. Oh, and getting the shifter figured out. So hopefully in the next video, I'll be able to test fire this thing, which I'm really hoping that goes well, because imagine going through all this and just blip, blip.
The engine just runs horribly.
Something's wrong.
Oh, man. Don't say that. Knock
on wood that goes well. I am so excited. We're so close, guys. So close. So that is it for this video. As always, give the video a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. Oh, and everything I'm using in this video will be in the video description below, so check it out. And that is it, guys. I'll see you next time. My name's Cassie, and keep Jeeping classy.